September of last year, Enrique Delgado-Garcia lost his life during what was allegedly a training exercise at the Massachusetts State Police Academy. They say he became unresponsive during a defense tactics training exercise, but the severity of his injuries don't really match the description of the incident, and now it's almost a year later and the family still does not have answers on why his neck was fractured, his teeth were missing, and he had severe brain damage. There are some big updates since the last time we talked about Enrique Delgado-Garcia, including a grand jury hearing testimony about his case, but let me quickly catch everybody up on his story first. As a young boy, he moved from Puerto Rico to Worcester, Massachusetts, where he got a degree in criminal justice. He ended up working as a victim witness advocate for the DA's office for about a year and a half before he decided to become a state trooper. He had also considered going into immigration law, but he said he believed that his community needed him as a state trooper. So in April of 2024, he joined the 90th Recruit Training Troop at the Massachusetts State Police Academy in Braintree. Massachusetts State Police has claimed that he was in a boxing ring, was hit in the head, and lost consciousness for 10 minutes. They say the on-site medical team responded and took him to the hospital. The next day, he receives a trooper badge and the state police oath of office swearing him in as a trooper before he's taken off life support while surrounded by loved ones, family, and classmates. And very quickly and very reasonably, his family demands accountability. They say when they looked at Enrique's body, it was covered in bruises. His neck was fractured, teeth were missing, he had skull damage, and severe brain damage. Allegedly, a doctor even told the family that it looked like Enrique had been in an accident involving a car going 100 miles an hour because of how severe the damage was to his body. A few days after his passing, one of Enrique's classmates gave an interview about what it was like at the training facility. This is Giovanni John Baptiste, and he talked about how he was treated before being dismissed from the 90th Recruit Training Troop. He alleges that he was told to go back to Haiti and that he has monkeys in his head, and that he was also instructed to sleep with the lights on as well as being deprived meals. He alleges that he was forced to stay up late to do things like count the bricks on a wall or color a pair of sweatpants red using a marker. He alleges that trainees would wake him up by knocking on his door and telling him to go home, and that at one point he was forced to clean the floor using his uniform while it was on his body by dragging his chest around the floor. And throughout what John Baptiste claims are documented incidents, Enrique Delgado-Garcia was supporting his friend. John Baptiste said that Enrique was well liked, that he had a big voice, and he was a really good guy. For their part, Massachusetts State Police told NBC 10, who interviewed John Baptiste, that the trainee that they spoke to was dismissed from the training camp and basically couldn't be trusted. But the department vehemently denies his allegation. But very importantly, when John Baptiste says that he was doing his training exercises, that he was required to wear a mouth guard and boxing gloves, etc., so he doesn't understand how it was possible that these injuries happened to Enrique. About a week after all of this happened, the Massachusetts State Police suspended all boxing training, and the Attorney General of Massachusetts, Andrea Joy Campbell, came out with a statement. She said she was appointing David Meyer to lead an investigation into all of this. Meyer had been a prosecutor for a decade before he became the chief of homicide at the Suffolk DA's office, and now he's a private practice attorney with over 30 years experience. And he was given a pretty lax leash to do this investigation. Campbell allowed him to hire who he wanted and spend the money that he wanted. And in February of this year, it was announced that Meyer put together a team to investigate Enrique's death. He recruited former FBI, Suffolk County prosecutors, and Boston police detectives to investigate this death. Boston Globe investigated all of the people named to see if they could find any connections with the Massachusetts State Police, and they found none. As of late May, the family was saying they still had not received an autopsy report for their son. As far as I can tell, there is still no real determination of the manner of his death. The latest update is that after about 6 months of investigation, a grand jury has heard testimony about that. These grand jury proceedings are not open or available to the public, so we really don't know the contents of them. It is unclear what will happen in this situation, but this is not the first time the Massachusetts State Police Academy has been in trouble. In 2022, Jeffrey Morrow stepped down after allegations of abuse. Allegedly, 20 people were treated for injuries after being forced to bear crawl across hot pavement. Also in 2005, higher-ups were transferred out of the academy after it came to light that they were putting their trainees' heads into dirty toilet bowls. And in 1988, Timothy Shepard died 6 weeks after collapsing during a training exercise. He fell unconscious during a heat stroke, eventually regaining consciousness and getting a liver transplant, but dying from an infection a couple days later. And 13 of his classmates were treated for kidney ailments and exhaustion. So this is not exactly new to the Massachusetts State Police Training Academy. Allegedly, some changes have happened, including splitting the class size up, as well as some protocol changes to what actually happens during training. Frankly, I fear the entire training system needs an overhaul. That's the update I have for you guys for right now. Love you guys. Drink water. Bye.